The Biden administration have declared that the Equal Rights Act, or the ERA, has become the 28th Amendment to our U.S. Constitution. But guess what? Newsflash, spoiler alert, this is not true. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Biden administration bizarrely declaring that the ERA, or Equal Rights Act, has become part of our U.S. Constitution, number 28. Now, I don't know why they said this, because it's just false. It's just wrong. It's not right. It is not the case. Okay. You got to go through quite a few things to get a brand new amendment in our Constitution. And those things that you got to go through did not happen. Therefore, there is no 28th Amendment. Now, maybe they did this for the reason I'm going to show you. Okay. Remember, I just did a video about this a few days ago. The headline here says, House passes bill to ban transgender student athletes from women's sports. The measure, which only 2 House Democrats supported, heads to the Senate. Now, of course, this is going to pass. In a last-ditch effort, they're trying to make the ERA be a thing, so it might kind of dump some cold water on this. Because if the ERA was to be ratified, which it has not been, but if it was to be, then that could be used to challenge this. Because under the ERA, things like men and women's restrooms and trans women competing against real women and abortion up until the point of birth, those things could be argued under a ratified ERA as the 28th Amendment. So that's probably why they're doing it. Now, before we get to Biden's speech, which he looked really crazy out there stuttering and stammering and carrying on, before we get to the speech, let's look at what he posted, or his team posted for him on the Twitters. It says, today I am affirming what I have long believed and what 3/4 of the states have ratified, according to him. He said Virginia ratified it in 2020, but that was way past the deadline. But anyway, the 28th Amendment is the law of the land, guaranteeing all Americans equal rights and protections under the law, regardless of their sex. So that's why I said the whole thing about abortion and men and women's spaces, those kind of things will fall up under this if it was part of the Constitution, which is not. I don't know why he's saying it, maybe just to try and do some kind of political wrangling, but what he's saying is just not the case. Now, they got fact checked on the Twitter, or X, pardon me, from a community notes, and readers added the context with links, and I'll put the links in the box. The National Archivist, who was responsible for enrolling new amendments, has stated that the ERA has not been lawfully ratified, citing a legal opinion drafted by the Biden administration's Justice Department Office of Legal Counsel in 2022, confirming this position. All right. So you could say it is the 28th Amendment, but it's not. Now, we got some articles before we get to the video. Okay, here's Breitbart. Joe Biden falsely declares states ratify equal rights amendments, ERA, the Constitution. Now, let's go right here. I want to read one passage to give you an idea of what's going on. While it officially would ensure that men and women have equal rights, legal scholars and top elected Republicans explain in great detail how it would instead abolish all sorts of vital legal distinctions and protections. Those range from blocking even the most modest restrictions on abortion through the moment of birth to allowing men and women's sports and locker rooms, to making it potentially illegal to have a Father's Day and a Mother's Day on the calendar as holidays. You see how that goes? So that's what they want to do. That's what they want to try to usher in. But again, they have not succeeded in their efforts as of yet. All right, here's Washington Post. This is a left-wing paper. Jeff Bezos. Biden declares there's now a 28th Amendment. There is not. Okay, and then the subhead explaining a seemingly bizarre declaration from the outgoing president. Now, some may say, oh, well, WAPO is compromised, all this, that, and the third. Well, here's ABC News. Even they don't want to say that what Biden did is correct. Biden says equal rights amendment should be considered, ratified, but not taken action, meaning you should consider it part of the Constitution, but we're not going to actually do anything to make that so. Therefore, when you say it has happened and it is the 28th Amendment, that's not true. Let's get into what Joe Biden said. Let's get into the speech. We're going to tough our way through it. Of course, you know Biden is 1,000 years old. So it'll be difficult. If you want to see the full speech for some reason, without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Earlier today, I announced 3 major priorities that mark important progress in our country. First, After fighting Big Pharma for decades as a senator and then vice president as president, we finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month for insulin, seniors now pay $35 a month. But that wasn't the only thing that happened when we passed the bill. Starting this month, the total prescription drug cost for seniors is capped at $2,000 no matter how expensive their drugs are. Even
at this point, it pretty much is letting them talk. There's no sense of trying to hide them and try to make any excuses. It's pretty much over. I mean, if it was me, I would just say, yo, good, let me get a vacation. Ain't no point in me coming out here and saying nothing because it's already a wrap. Let the other guy do with it. I'm done. That's what I would say, but I digress.
Even expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, they're not going to have to pay more than $2,000 a year. And finally, we gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower drug prices like the VA has been able to do for veterans all along. These negotiations are being implemented in phases. The first phase, negotiate a lower price for the 10 most expensive drugs for seniors, covering drugs for blood clots and so much more. And just this morning, I announced the next phase, the next 15 drugs subject to negotiations. Drugs that will treat cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and so much more.
Now, those drugs he's talking about are weight loss drugs. I read on this, the 15 drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, that's weight loss drugs, okay? Because so many Americans are on these drugs, they want to find a way to subsidize it. That's all that's going on.
Including Ozempic.
Ozympia. Hey, Biden, look, I don't know why you out here, really. We got it.
Hard to say. But it really is an incredible drug. These reforms just don't save seniors money. They save the American taxpayer $160 billion. The taxpayer over the next decade. Why? That $160 billion in Medicare is saving for negotiating lower drug prices in Big Pharma doesn't have to be paid out by the government. $160 billion. Second, just over 100 years ago, a pioneering group of women proposed the Equal Rights Amendment to enshrine the principles of gender equality in our Constitution.
Here we go.
Throughout my career, I've been clear. No one should be discriminated against based on their sex. And in order for the amendment to be ratified, it requires 3/4 of the states to ratify it. That benchmark was passed when Virginia ratified the ERA a few years ago.
In 2020, but they were past the deadline, so that's not really a thing. Like, you're just hoping that what you're saying is correct, but it's not.
Today, I affirm the Equal Rights Amendment to have cleared all the necessary hurdles to be added to the U.S. Constitution now.
So you declare that it has passed the hurdles, but it has not passed the hurdles. So that's just wishful thinking. Shout out to you. If you want to see the rest of that video for some reason, I'll link to it in the box. But as I close, I want to say this. The Equal Rights Act has not become part of the Constitution. No matter what you want to say, no matter what kind of wishful thinking you have, it's just not that way. And I'm glad that it hasn't. It shouldn't, because, hey, I don't think it's okay for women to be forced to share spaces with men. I think women should have their own spaces. I think we should respect biology. We should respect gender, okay? Men are men, women are women, children are children. Let's respect all of who we are and what we are and operate in society accordingly. When we don't respect these roles, when we try to blend things and confuse things, that's when society ultimately would just collapse under its own weight of disgusting behavior. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about what the Biden administration are doing right here, trying to make the ERA be part of the Constitution? Although it's just not. It's just not. No matter what they want to say. Okay, somebody may say, oh, I love the ERA, it's great. Okay, that's fine. But to say that it is a thing that it's not is just a lie. Whatever your thoughts on the whole situation are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This looks like some political wrangling, trying to negotiate something, trying to make one other thing that somebody else did be less relevant. Like I showed you, the Republicans have passed a ban on men and women's sports. So now they want to say, oh, the ERA, that's constitutional. You guys can't do that, although it's not. You're just kind of bluffing. You're probably going to see a years-long battle over this kind of thing in court, but I hope not. I really hope not. I hope we just kind of get our minds together. We get our minds right hopefully we get our minds right as Americans and refuse to embrace this sort of thing in our future. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.